Hey yo people, so in this video I'll make a Halloween decoration, a DIY project, an innovation in the spooky sector, may I say. So let me show you. When you come in front of the sensor, it will activate the LEDs RGB, which will show the mask behind the window, in fact, and it will play a scream sound on a Bluetooth device. So I use an ESP board. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth integrated, an ultrasonic sensor, some neopixels, 8 to be precise, a breadboard, protoboard. I use a little one to reduce space, weight, air resistance, and to increase the ratio of surface area to volume. Some wires, of course, and some resistors in theory, if you want to be right. Am I right? I did not use them. Shall you? Cheers, my friends.
You will also need the Bluetooth speaker, the AC adapter, the USB cable, maybe the power bank if you want to use it, a mask or picture instead. And I use some wood to support the LEDs in front of the mask.
Here is the code. First, make sure to download the A2DP library and also the NeoPixel library if you don't have it, and add the ESP32 board to your Arduino IDE. And first in the code we include the libraries, and the A2DP library is the one that allow us to connect to the Bluetooth speaker and play the sound. Next is the raw data, and here I'll show you how you can make your custom audios and put it on this format. Next, we define the pins for the sensor, the trick pin and the echo pin, and in this case is 32 and 35. Next, we have some values to calculate the distance and also to convert to inches. Here we define the pins for the LED strips. I'll use two strips of 4 LEDs each, and set the brightness to the highest at 255. You can set it from 0 to 255, and here is the LED strips configuration with the values we set. In this case, the first LED strip is the pin 27 and the second is the pin 14. Next, we have the Bluetooth A2DP configuration. In this case, we have it as source, as we are playing the audio to the Bluetooth speaker. Next is the audio configuration. In this case, it is two channel data, and I tried the one channel option that's showed in the library, but it will play the audio on half the speed and it will sound really bad. So this one was the one that worked best with the best audio quality. Here we set up the sensor pins, the trigger pin as an output and the echo pin as an input. Next we begin to strip, we begin the strips, the LED strips, both of them. And here we set up the Bluetooth device, the speaker we want to connect to. Also, we could set up the volume output as 80 just because. On the loop we start with the distance meter, and first we have the trigger pin on low, and then set it to high for 10 microseconds. Then we read the time it take the signal to come back to the echo pin. Here we get the distance in centimeters, multiplying the time it took the signal to come back to the sensor, uh, multiplying by the speed of sound and dividing by 2. Why we divide by 2? You may already know, but we send the ultrasonic signal, and it will go and come back when it reflects with something, so it will take actually twice the time. So that's why we divide by 2. Here we convert the distance to inches in case you want to use it in your project for the condition, and a delay of 100 milliseconds to keep monitoring the distance. Here we have the condition to trigger the screamer, and I use centimeters as you can see, and I use 1 meter as the threshold. 100 centimeters or less, it will trigger it. Here we set the color of the LEDs to white and show the update. And with this we play the audio on the speaker. With this delay we'll let the colors on white for 1 second. Then this set the color to blue and then show it for half a second, then change the color to red, half a second, then blue, half a second, then red, half a second, then white, for 2 seconds. Then clear the strips and update. This is basically they turn off. Now I'll explain you how you can make a custom audio to be played. First, I am using Audacity to select the audio I'm going to use, and just make sure it fits on the ESP32. I think you could maybe upload up to 15 seconds. I just use 4 seconds for the screamer and for the scream, and it was perfect. You can try to see if there is no problem when uploading the code. Make sure the frequency is set to 44,100 Hz and export the audio as a WAV file and save the file with the codification signed 16-bit PCM. Open the file with an X editor, and I use HXD. Select all or Ctrl A and go to edit, copy as and C. Then open a new notepad and paste it. This is almost all. We just have to add a couple things to this and we have the data. Add const to this variable and cut the number between the brackets. go to the end of the document and add a new unsigned integer called raw data underscore length and copy the number. Probably should change this view. Save the file with the extension .h and you should put it on the Arduino library of your project in order to include it in the code. Here you should include your data and make sure you have it on the same folder as the project. And you should probably eliminate this line if you have the screen on the folder, because you probably will have problems with these variables. Finally, you probably skip all the explanation, but now it's time to upload the code and make the connections and test it. These are the connections, and as you can see there is a voltage divider on the ECA pin of the ultrasonic sensor, and as I told you, I connected directly. It worked perfect, but it could fail, I guess. This is a test I made on the protoboard before installing everything, and it works great. You can turn on the board or the speaker first, it doesn't matter, it will connect automatically. It's time to install everything, and I put the mask on a broomstick and glued it with hot glue. I had the hot glue gun next there. Okay, so it is glued. I put hot glue on the top and on the bottom. It is nice, and as you can see, I have this piece of wood. I cut three pieces and just measure with the eye where to glue it. And I'll just lean the broomstick on a chair, and that's my tripod. Here I'm showing you how I plan to put the LEDs on the stick facing the mask on both sides. Here I'll plan to glue the protoboard there, and I was measuring the wires I need to cut. Here I glued the LEDs and cut the wires, solder them, and also put heat shrink and connect everything. You can see the sensor outside, and just turn on the Bluetooth speaker and I'll show you how it works, how it looks. As you can see, the wood stick I glued to put the LEDs, it is pretty white, so I'll paint it black and it will look better. You will see. You will see how much better it looks now. Just don't look on the back. I mean, you don't. You don't have to. You don't need it. Why? And thank you for watching this project. If you're interested, you can check it at Instructables. You can find the codes and everything there.